Yo, what's up, everybody? It's your guy J Red checking in once again on the one and only Res View. I'm the one and only J Red. Shout out to all my subscribers, my faithful subscribers, YouTube subscribers, the followers on Instagram, followers on Facebook, everybody everywhere. Hopefully, everybody has been having a productive week so far. It is Hump Day. We have a lot to discuss, a lot to talk about. Hopefully, everybody's been doing their thing. Hopefully, you had a good Labor Day weekend, ladies and gentlemen. I forgot Labor Day just happened, so hopefully everybody had a good Labor Day, good holiday. Took the day off of work. I know some of y'all did have to work, but shout out to everybody, man. We got a lot to talk about tonight. All right. Before we begin in tonight's broadcast, I want everybody to do me a favor and make sure that you subscribe to my official channel, which is youtube.com/resview. Is going across your screen right now. Also, what I want you to do is make sure that you subscribe to my other platform with my homeboy CJ. Shout out to Cultureless Theory. CJ, and we have a podcast together called Who Gave You a Podcast? All right, so make sure that you go subscribe to that as well. All you got to do is type in Who Gave You a Podcast on YouTube, and we'll pop right up. All right. So, man, it's been a lot going on. Hit the like button too. Forgot to mention that. Hit the like button or the dislike button. It's all good. And most importantly, make sure that you subscribe. So, man, we got a lot to talk about, man. A lot of stuff has been going on. If you saw my last video, I was talking about Young Thug. Young Thug has been the topic of discussion for like the past 2 weeks now. A lot has been going on. His jail tapes have been being leaked. And when I say the jail tapes, I'm talking about the audio from his phone calls that he's had with 21 Savage, Mariah the Scientist, his manager, different things like that. Now, since my broadcast, when I talked about it last time, it's literally been clips from his conversations dropping every day. Young Thug basically has a podcast at this point. I'm not bullshitting with you. It's like he really just has a podcast at this point. You know, Suge Knight had a podcast. I know he's been on the Art of Dialogue lately, but he had a podcast from jail. I don't think Thug intentionally meant to do this, but that's pretty much what it is. He's dropping, well, not him, but it's been leaked convos talking about not just the snitching stuff. We passed the snitching stuff at this point. Okay. Now it's time to talk about what Thug has been talking about in these clips. I don't know how old they are, but obviously it was when he was jailed while he was waiting trial or going through trial and everything like that. So a lot of this stuff has been dropping every day. And the question is why? Why, who, what, when, where? Why is this happening now? So the main topic of tonight's broadcast is the reasons why Young Thug's jail convos are being leaked. That's the question that I've been wanting to know. Okay, some people have been having a field day on Twitter, Instagram. There have been a bunch of memes. People have been talking about this and that, but it's a lot of stuff. Like one clip was he was going at Kendrick Lamar, which we'll talk about. One clip he was talking about Gunna, that whole convo he was having with 21 Savage. There's another clip of him talking about how Gunna isn't as big as he was portrayed to be because Young Thug admitted that he spent like 50K on some streams. So it's a lot of music industry inside stuff going on that we're listening to. And I could say it's entertaining to say the least. It's nothing but entertainment to say the least. Like I said, we're past the whole snitching thing. Now we want to know the reasons why. So I came up with a list of reasons why I believe, plus what everybody else is kind of trying to form together. It's a piece to the puzzle because at the end of the day, I'll speak on this. I don't like it. And the reason I don't like it is because these are private conversations. Okay. These are private conversations. And I feel like, whether you're incarcerated or not, it's messed up that these clips are leaking. It's not like, and people calling Thug a chatty patty and all this other stuff, but these are regular convos that he's having with his friend 21 Savage, regular conversations that he's having with his manager, whoever you may say that it is. All right. And I don't like the invasion of privacy. So I will say that. However, I blame this on Thug for putting himself in this situation and then being delusional to not think before he speaks. Why would you have these conversations on a jail phone call? On jail, you know that when you're in jail, if you call anybody, it's on a recorded line. So I blame Thug for all of this stuff that's happening right now. Like, what would make you think that the convo's not being recorded, or you just didn't give a damn? I don't know what it is, but we're going to talk about the reasons why, as a lot of people are wondering why this is happening. Okay, so the first thing, I've comprised a list, y'all. So walk with me. Okay, first reason why is this Fonnie Willis in Fulton County's revenge. Is this Fonnie Willis in Fulton County's revenge? Now, you know, they locked him up on the RICO and Thug got off. You know, they had all those charges put against Thug because it was actually murders involved, all kind of YSL as a gang, this whole thing, right? But Thug beat the RICO. Now, they got him for 15 years of probation. But is this their get back? Is this Fonnie Willis's get back? Are they the ones that are leaking these conversations? Now, I'm not sure how that can happen and legally if that's something that can happen. Like, but they're being leaked by somebody, by something. So is this Fonnie Willis and Fulton County's revenge? This their get back? Okay, we didn't get you on that RICO, but we're gonna mess up your career. We didn't get you on the RICO. You got probation, but it ain't over, Thug. We gonna get you back and mess up your career. So that's the first thing. All right. Second thing, Young Thug getting his assets back. You know, I don't know if anybody paid attention to this, but this happened on August 18th. And I remember seeing this. I just didn't dive into it. But look right here. So Young Thug wins court order to regain $145,000 dollars, multiple cars seized during YSL trial. The rapper's attorney confirmed that a judge approved the return of cash, vehicles, and 72 pieces of jewelry. So this was a win for Thug. He got his assets back, you know, got his jewelry back, got his money back. So that was a big FU. That was a big FU to everybody. You know what I'm saying? That was a big FU to the DA, the FU to Fonnie Willis, Fulton County, and everything like that. Could that have been the reasons why? You know, he got his assets back. So it's like, not only do I get to keep my freedom or regain my freedom, but also F y'all. I got my stuff back. So people don't like taking L's, and the law doesn't like taking L's either. So could that be a reason? Second reason, I'm sorry, third reason. Third reason, is this Gunna's revenge? Is this Gunna's get back? Now, this is a little far-fetched in my opinion. Some people have been saying Gunna and his team got a hold of the tapes and have been leaking it. I don't say that's what it is. I'm not sure what it is. Shout out to my auntie. Shout out to my aunt Sandra. But is this Gunna's revenge? Is this his get back? Some people are saying it's his team that leaked the audio and all this other stuff, the phone conversations. I don't believe that, but you know, anything could be possible because you know, Thug went in on Gunna, didn't play it cool. You know what I'm saying? Since he's been out of jail, he's been criticizing Gunna. People, the whole industry has been criticizing Gunna. So I guess if Gunna's going through what he's going through, is his get back at Thug. Like, well, my team's gonna release all these tapes. We're gonna leak all these tapes. But I don't know if I believe this is Gunna actually doing this, but this is just something that's out in the internet world right now. All right. Next one. Did Thug piss off the higher ups? Did Young Thug piss off the higher ups? Now, this is the case that always happens with black men in America, black people in general. You know, whether you're in Hollywood, the movie industry, music industry, whatever the case may be, when you're in business, a lot of people, you know, will say if you do something, you better stay, you know, in your lane, because if you piss off the wrong person, that person has power and they can dominate you. They can make sure that you don't have access to resources anymore. They can take away your money, mess up your network, all of that stuff. They can have you cancel all of that stuff. So, did he piss off somebody? Who did Thug piss off? Because it's just strange to me that all of this is happening now out of nowhere. And when you see stuff like this, somebody can pull the plug. Like, did he piss off a higher up in the music industry? Was he about to get his masters back? We don't know what the case is, but did he piss off somebody? We know that this historically happens with black people, whether you're trying to do this or do that. So, did he piss off somebody? Last thing, was Young Thug trying to buy NBC? Was Young Thug trying to buy NBC? No, I'm just playing. That was just something I had to throw out there. I saw a couple of memes with that. But I think that that's far-fetched too. People just saying stuff. But the reason why people are saying buy NBC, because typically with a black person, once they have this fame, this glory, and then all of a sudden something drastic happens and it's a smear campaign and everybody's dogpiling on them. Because when these audio tapes leak, think about this, for example. Like when these audio tapes leak like this, they're destroying his character about the snitching, staying on street code. They're destroying his image, his reputation. All of that is being destroyed right now. His industry connections. There's a tape that he's talking about little young. I about to say young Dirt, Lil Dirt. I don't know if y'all heard that, but did you hear the clip of him talking about Lil Durk? You know what I'm saying? Like that's somebody he was just vouching for when he was talking about Kendrick Lamar. And I don't think he's actually dissing these people. These are just regular pillow talk phone calls that you may have. You know, these people may not be his real friends. That's why I respect the privacy aspect. But this isn't just ruining his reputation, but also ruining his industry connects. You know what I'm saying? Like it's ruining him and Lil Durk's relationship, ruining if him and Kendrick Lamar had a relationship. You know what I'm saying? So it's making sure whoever's leaking this is making sure that Thug's career won't ever be the same. You know what I'm saying? So it's people like, okay, I can't work with him. What has he said about me? And everybody, like every day something's dropping. And I kid you not, it's going to be something bigger than this, because if Thug felt this comfortable being on the phone on a jail conversation, knowing it's recorded, saying all this stuff, Lord knows who else he's talking about. You know what I'm saying? Is Drake going to be next? Is Cardi B going to be next? We know the industry is snaky, snakes and, it's snakes in the grass and you can't trust anybody. So he's talking behind these people's back on a recorded line. So who else is he about to talk about? You know what I'm saying? So it's real strange that all of this is happening, and it's just making me wonder what's the bigger picture. Because since something is dropping every day, you have to best believe something else is coming. I don't even think that we reached the tip of the iceberg yet. I think more is actually going to be coming. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my auntie. Yep, so true. Yeah, it's like they're not going to just leak these convos. See, I thought it was just one, but after the second one happened, and then everything since this past Friday, Thursday, over the weekend, everything has been dropping. We are on Wednesday, and it don't look like it's stopping. Now, Thug was in jail for like damn near 2 years, wasn't he? 2 or 3. It was 2 or 3 years. I can't remember. He was in jail for a long time. So if he was comfortable talking to people about buying streams and all, and that make the record industry look bad too, because he openly admitted that he bought streams, to make Gunna go number one over the weekend. You know what I'm saying? So Lord knows who else he's talking about. Is it more information that Thug is about to reveal? I don't think that we've reached the tip of the iceberg yet. I think that him calling out, talking about Kendrick Lamar, because it's not calling him out. You know what I'm saying? But he was talking about him, and we're going to talk about the Kendrick thing in a second, because I saw the Drake fans rejoicing after just calling Thug a snitch. But anyway, what's the real cause of this? What's going to happen next? Because they're making sure Thug won't have a career after this. But speaking of Thug's career, will his career be the same? Is his career over? Now, my take on this is this. This is what I feel like Thug should do. I feel like Thug should actually lean into this. That's the only thing that's going to make it right. Now, if you're a real Young Thug fan, no matter what he does, if you like his music and you're a fan of his music, not necessarily the content, but the music and how he sounds, then this won't affect you. Just like it didn't really affect Gunna like that. Now, it did affect Gunna's industry connects, because you saw 21 Savage didn't work with him, Lil Baby didn't work with him, Future didn't work with him. All the connects that he had before going to jail, he got alienated. You know what I'm saying? Now he still has his fans, but that's the only thing that's keeping him alive, music wise in the industry. But you see, he got his body right. He's working out. Just did like a fitness conference or something like that, like a running club. That's what he did. So Gunna wasn't never really just a big street rapper anyway. He was affiliated, but it ended up working out for him. I think it's gonna be harder on Thug, because he went so hard on staying to the code in the streets, and I'm a real nigga, this real. And now people calling him a snitch, a chatty patty, and all this other stuff. So where does he go from here? I feel like if Thug actually leans into this and plays the bad guy card and just carry on like nothing happened, Will he lose respect or has he lost respect? Yes, obviously. You know what I'm saying? But his fans are going to be his fans. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm not saying he's going to go platinum anymore or anything like that, but it's really going to be a rocky situation for him. And I think it's because how he treated Gunna and how he treated just everything, and everybody was on the side of Thug. Where's 21 Savage at? What does Lil Baby think about this? What does the music industry think about this? Just everything. And it's real messed up. But Thug, his career wasn't gonna be the same anyway, because I feel like his music wasn't gonna be the same. The man can't come to Atlanta anymore. He can't be doing drugs anymore like he used to. So the music that he's gonna make now, we know how it is. When rappers unfortunately get off the drug usage or the addiction, the music doesn't sound as good or the same prior to that. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see how this goes. Let me know in the comment section what you think about this. What do you feel the reason that these jail convos are being leaked? Do you agree with everything that I said? Do you disagree? Let me know. And if you're watching right now, do me a favor on YouTube. If you're watching this, hit that like button. I'm waiting for you to hit that like button. And then if you're watching this on Facebook, we're having a great convo. Hit that like button and then hit the share button. All right. We're having a real good conversation right now. Okay, so since we're talking about, the whole street credibility and all this other stuff, I saw an interesting post that came across my timeline since this Young Thug stuff happened. And it talked about, when did hip hop lose its credibility? All right. They were talking about Rick Ross and everything like that. Thank you, Auntie. She says she agrees with me. So it was talking about hip hop street cred, street credibility, and all this other stuff, right? So with this Young Thug thing, we're seeing that hip hop in the streets is, it's a blurred line between that. Hip hop ain't real. These rappers aren't super thugs like you think that they are, especially when they get pressured behind closed doors and all this other stuff. They're not who you think they are. So I saw the post come up, and it says something like hip hop lost its street credibility when Rick Ross was exposed for being a CO in prison, right? And it was that whole thing in the industry. People, it was big shock value, right? But people moved on. The industry didn't, disregard Rick Ross. 50 Cent clowned him, a few other rappers clowned him, and they still bring it up every now and then. Like Drake, when he dissed him recently, talking about Officer Ricky and all this other stuff, but y'all still collaborated with him. You still did songs with him. But let me ask you this: did it start with Rick Ross being exposed as a CO? Or we can go further back. Okay. Let's talk about Lil Wayne. When Lil Wayne and Birdman, there was a photo, it looked like a professional photo too, of them kissing. You know what I'm saying? Now, they weren't tongue kissing, but they put their mouths on each other, kissing. So did that start it because it's supposed to be these gangsters, you know what I'm saying? They were supposed to be bloods and everything like that. And you find out that they kiss each other on the lips, and it was weird. And we let that go past, and it's like, oh, wow, you know what I'm saying? But the industry breezed past that. Did that stop Lil Wayne's career? No. Did that stop Birdman and Cash Money? No. Did that stop Young Money? No. People still was listening to Wayne. So did it start there? Or let's go back to T.I. doing the whole Crime Stoppers thing. Do y'all remember that? When T.I. did the whole Crime Stoppers thing. Now, T.I., of course, that was a part of like his work release, or, a deal he worked out with, to avoid doing prison time, something like that. We know the case with the guns and all this other stuff. But did it start back then? You know what I'm saying? Because T.I. is on camera saying, hey, report, basically snitch. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to T.I. He's a legend, hip hop, Atlanta rap legend, everything. T.I. is dope. You know what I'm saying? I've always liked T.I. But did it start back then with the whole Crime Stoppers thing? And then they said something about T.I. took the stand and all this other stuff, with that. But when you dissect it, we find that there is a line drawn between reality and street when it comes to rap. But when did it actually start? Because I thought at that time Rick Ross' career was over, because we always say F the police, and hip hop has always been anti-establishment, anti-law enforcement. But then you got a guy who claims to be a drug kingpin, made a whole career off of that, but then he's working in the prison. Now, a lot of people were like, well, he had to do what he had to do, and they're corrupt cops and all this other stuff. Yeah, we knew that, but it still was not a good look. But that got passed. So it lets other things get past. Now, Tekashi 6ix9ine, I don't count him at all. He is a culture vulture anyway. But when you're talking about this Young Thug thing, that goes back to that. Will his career be able to be the same? Because we saw Gunna, he's still on top of the charts, still putting out a couple of hit records every now and then. What will happen with Thug? But when did it actually start? When did we, do we really care as a culture if these rappers are real and what they claim to be or not? Or do we look at them as movie directors or actors? Like Arnold Schwarzenegger, do you really feel like he's a Terminator? Denzel, do you really feel like he's Alonzo from Training Day? You know what I'm saying? Do you think that Al Pacino was really Scarface? Do we separate the actors and the directors and everybody from these action movies, gangster movies, shoot 'em up movies, all this other stuff? But when it comes to rap, we want them to really be real. And I get you. You know what I'm saying? Charlemagne said back in the day, I like when my gangster rappers do gangster things. But the topic right now is, when did it lose the street credibility? Because we like hearing it. But when we find out that somebody is exposed for living an alternate lifestyle and some gay stuff, when we find out that they are a CO, a former policeman, whatever like that, if the music is that good, does it really matter? When did it start losing its street credibility? You know? And it's something to really think about. And are people online who are calling Thug a snitch, do y'all really care? Do we really care as a culture? Do we care as black people? You know what I'm saying? Does it really matter at the end of the day? And when did it start? Because some people could date it back further than that. But I saw the whole Rick Ross thing, and then I saw the whole it brought up the other conversation. Well, Lil Wayne kissed Baby, they were bloods. T.I. was on Crime Stoppers, and it just kept going and going and going. So when did hip-hop lose its street credibility? Now we accept the snitches. Now this snitching thing is new. You know what I'm saying? Because T.I., they talked about T.I. Taking the stand, but as far as like going into court, the whole Tekashi 6ix9ine thing, now it's going into Atlanta, and now we're seeing that these rappers are really snitches. You know what I'm saying? Gunna's a snitch. YSL, the whole YSL is a snitch, or snitches rather. So y'all let me know in the comments what you think about that. Now, let's go into what Thug did talk about that had the internet going crazy yesterday. It was all on my timeline on Twitter, and it's something that I wanted to talk about yesterday, but I wanted to wait to talk about it today. So Thug pretty much implied that Kendrick won't be bigger than Drake because Kendrick doesn't whore himself out for features. Thug was on the conversation, and this is a private convo, but I don't think he was dissing Kendrick. He was just upset that Kendrick denied to be on his album. Kendrick, I don't know what happened. Allegedly, he was supposed to be on a song. But anyway, let's listen to what Thug had said. And I'm going to give my feedback on this because folks were killing me with this. You know, the Drake stands, they were all on Thug, calling him a snitch and all this, but just listen to this. Listen to this. All right, fair use, of course, fair use.
Kendrick. Future grocery bag. Say again?
I hope he do it.
So do I. I mean, well, even if you don't get,
he don't take no money, do he?
So right now he's saying he didn't take the money. He talking about the feature.
No. He wouldn't do that. Just think about it. He does so few verses. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's not just doing verses. Like,
right. But
the only other person that gets a Kendrick verse is Baby King, and that's like his cousin or his nephew or something.
Right. You getting all the damn verses to this nigga, man. What the heck you doing, crazy?
So he's upset. The dude said that the main features that he does is like giving it to Baby Keem, different artists like that. Now, keep in mind, Kendrick, Thug wants Kendrick to be on his album. So listen to this.
Oh, that fake. Oh, I ain't getting no rapper songs. I don't be liking them type nigga like that.
Why?
You nigga get too big. I don't want to do no feature. Why? Why you don't want to do no feature? Why wouldn't you want to do a feature for a superstar? Like, you ain't like goddamn Strict calling you for a song, like,
yeah.
You really got Lil Durk calling you for a song, Lil Baby, Thug, real superstar calling you for a song. Why?
So he's saying that these are real superstars, Durk, Lil Baby, Thug.
When you do the song, we lit, and we going number 1 too. Fuck you thinking? It's just like I don't be understanding that type of shit. supposed to be a nigga who bless a nigga. That's why them niggas will never be bigger than Drake ever in life.
So he said that they will never be bigger than Drake because they don't collaborate with everybody. Keep that in mind. We're still listening.
Niggas will never be bigger than Buddy. Buddy gonna do it right. Buddy fucking with everybody. You know how many niggas like Drake chain? How many niggas can take care of their family because of Buddy? Just like straight fucking with you. Kendrick, goddamn, put a nigga on. Y'all niggas, you're a superstar. You don't ran up you a few hundred M, but you ain't put nobody on though. You see what I'm saying? You ain't even put Keem on. Cause the shit you and him doing, that shit ain't really doing that.
Right.
Put somebody on. It's okay to run you a few hundred M's up, but who you help though?
So he's saying, you know, you haven't helped anybody. What's good of you having all that clout, that fame, the success if you're not helping anybody else out?
You ain't really helped nobody. It's the saying. You did all that shit for nothing. Nigga, you ain't helped nobody, nigga. Nigga ain't really gaining no fans off of you. Keem ain't big. Keem love hell, man. Can't sell no fucking ticket. Watch out.
All right, so he's saying Baby Keem ain't big. You ain't really putting him on like that, even though he was featured on his songs and through his album. But
like, man, watch out. I truly believe you do a song on me, Wham, Dirt, Moneybag, Savage. I truly believe we'll have your ass dope, trending like.
he just said if you do verses or collaborations with me, Moneybag, Dirk, and 21 Savage, they'll have Kendrick Lamar lit. Keep that in mind.
So it's gonna be like people in the real world fucking with you, not the goddamn, not the rap world. You see what I'm saying?
People in the real world, but not like people outside of the rap world will mess with Kendrick. Not just in the rap world, but in the real world.
It's gonna be real players and cool bitches, lit bitches, and players and shit like that fucking with you. Them type of people ain't fucking with you. You gonna get like the real streets and the real people fucking with you. You gonna get the East Coast fucking. East Coast ain't fucking with you, bro.
But the East Coast is messing with Thug and 20. Okay.
You really trying to keep all the blessings to yourself. You really trying to keep.
This is the funny part right here. This is the funny part. Listen to this.
With you, bro. You really trying to keep all the blessings to yourself. You really trying to keep everything to yourself. You really sit in the studio and work on the album and don't put nobody on the album. Like, God damn, bro, you ain't gonna fuck with nobody. You ain't gonna bless nobody. Bullshit ass king. Like, but it's like, what the hell is you doing? You supposed to be fucking with me, Wham, Dirt, Savvy. You supposed to be fucking with us. You supposed to be calling us like, hey man, I want y'all young niggas on my album. I'm on some player shit this time around. I'm on some player shit. Like, come on, man, God damn. I don't know though. You nigga be crazy.
Right.
Hopefully he do the song though. If he don't, I ain't really giving no damn.
I'm gonna leave it at that. Hopefully he do the song, but if not, I ain't giving no damn. All right. So this is my response to this. So the Drake stands took this and ran with it. Shout out to CJ. He was one of the first ones to send me this. They took this and ran with it, right? After they were just shitting all over Thug, talking about he a snitch and all this. But he a snitch, but he right. He telling the truth about this, though. Yeah, Kendrick can't be bigger than Drake because Kendrick stay inside. Oh, you know what? No, let me keep it going. Let me go back to that because he said something very funny too. I forgot. He talked about Kendrick and the social media thing. My bad, y'all. Let me continue it. Listen to this.
We'll still be good.
Yeah, over good. Continue being rap, man. You know what I'm saying? Continue being rap, man. Stay supportive.
Yeah.
Put my album cover or something, man. Stay supportive, man. All that. I ain't posting no pictures, 6 years shit, man. Watch out.
He said all that. I ain't posting pictures in 6 years. Shit, watch out.
You don't care about all that shit, man. Nobody don't give no fuck about none of that. I guarantee you, your first post you post, that motherfucker gonna do 1 million or 2 million likes. You can get out in that 16 years. You not finna get on here and get no 100 million likes on your post. You're not Kim Kardashian, man. So whatever you call yourself doing with your internet, and if you just want to prove like, oh, I won't be on the internet, what is that proving? What they do? What you do? Instagram is meant for pictures, man. Post your picture, bro.
All right. So he said Instagram is meant for pictures. Post a picture, Kendrick. Post on social media. Let me get back to that. What I was saying though. Keep that in mind. So Drake stands took it, ran with it. After criticizing Thug, they were just like, yeah, Thug is telling the truth right here. He a snitch, but he telling the truth. So according to the Drake stands and Young Thug and everybody, in order to be number one, that means that you have to whore yourself out for features. What if Kendrick didn't want to do a song with Young Thug? What if Thug, Dirk, Moneybag Yo, come on, Moneybag Yo. What if Kendrick doesn't look at you like you look at yourselves? First week sales. Okay, Kendrick is a superstar. Thug ain't no superstar. Moneybag Yo aren't super. They're not a superstar. 21 Savage ain't superstars. They're stars, but not superstars. Kendrick Lamar has higher first week sales than a Young Thug, Moneybag Yo, everything like that. Now, Thug can have his opinion, you know what I'm saying? But when you get to talking about basically you want Kendrick to be out of his element, you want him to spread himself out like Drake because Drake, you know, collabs with more people, but Kendrick wouldn't have his aura. Kendrick wouldn't have his credibility. Kendrick wouldn't have his image if he didn't have that mystique about him and those standards. That's why a lot of people gravitate towards Kendrick. That's his brand. Kendrick's brand is prestigious. I'm not going to just work with just anybody. And maybe that's why Drake is on the decline now, because he's worn himself out. Now, there's nothing wrong with making collaborations. There's nothing wrong with linking up with up and coming talent, all that other stuff. But if you're an artist of a certain caliber, you're supposed to be standoffish on certain things. I'm not going to collaborate with anybody just to collaborate with them. And then, you know, Thug's conversation is pretty much saying that we'll get you hot. What Thug is pretty much trying to say is we'll get you buzzing in the trendy world. We'll get you buzzing with the players and everybody else. Like the kids who listen to us will listen to you. What if Kendrick don't need that? Kendrick sells way more records than Thug, way more records than 21 Savage, Moneybag Yo, Dirk, all of them. Now, I'm not discrediting Thug and them, but Kendrick is an elite rapper, elite artist. He just did a stadium tour worldwide. You know what I'm saying? Now, Drake is an elite rapper and everything too, but they're in different lanes. See, if Kendrick were to collab with a Thug, with a Lil Baby and everything like that, it would probably devalue his brand, if we're being honest. You don't just collab with anybody if you're of an elite caliber. And just because you don't collaborate with everybody doesn't not mean that you can't be number one. Because the people, it's not about how many people you help put on musically. Now, if you're talking about some money thing, you know what I'm saying, on a money standpoint, you know, if you're saying like Kendrick don't give back to the community or put other people on you know, with money and stuff like that and ain't investing back, okay, I can see that. What's better than 1 millionaire, 2, 3, what's whatever, you know what I'm saying? But when you talk about music, you don't, he talking about some damn all that blessing and you don't want to share with nobody. What he's really saying, he admires, he has admiration for Kendrick Lamar, which I know that he does, because if you remember a few years ago, French Montana said he had more hit records than Kendrick Lamar, and Thug went in on French Montana. So I know he looks up to Kendrick, and that's all that it was. I don't think it was anything bad of what he was getting at. It's just Thug was just you know, a little hurt and distraught that Kendrick doesn't want to be on his album, because he basically like, damn, I ain't good enough. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got the streets buzzing. You know what I'm saying? You get on this stuff, you'll be more trendy. You know, you'll have more hit records and all this other stuff. Kendrick can drop an album and it shuts down the whole internet. You think he give a damn about a Thug feature? And Lil Baby and them, they're not as good of an artist as a young as Kendrick Lamar. So all you Drake stands who was just contradicting yourself, you calling Thug a snitch and everything, now you want to be on his side because he quote unquote is talking down on Kendrick Lamar. That don't even make sense. You don't have to whore yourself out for features in order to be number one. And then let's talk about Drake. You're saying that he didn't put these artists on and he didn't, how much he did for niggas and stuff like that. Who did Drake put on? Who did Drake put on that is more successful than Drake or just as successful than Drake that y'all talk about? Because the people from his label ain't really that big. Do we need to go there? The I Love McConan dude. I just saw that he was taking a picture at a fast food joint or a kitchen, a restaurant that he was working at. Going up on a Tuesday. You remember that song? So let's talk about it. Drake and who was that? So he put on, I ain't gonna say he put on Migos, but he gave them a nice feature and stuff. Drake getting on other people's songs made the song hot and probably made the song hot. But what did those artists really do after that? Black Boy JB. You talking about Black Boy JB, Fetty Wap. Drake got on the Fetty Wap record after it was already hot. That Baby Won't You Come My Way. Fetty Wap was already buzzing, already successful. So I don't like this whole thing about Drake didn't put who? Name everybody besides Migos. Who else? 21 Savage was popping before Drake. Now, did he sell as many records? You know what I'm saying? At one time, doing that, that gave him his highest first week sales, but 21 had a fan base before that. So you really need to break it down. I think that people put too much emphasis on Drake really helping these artists and stuff like that. He does features on these songs, but what happens after that? Because Black Boy JB ain't nowhere to be found. You know what I'm saying? What artist outside of the Migos and who else? I'm trying to think of somebody else, but I asked my homeboy the other day. He couldn't really say. Now, did he get the chart topping singles and everything? Yeah. But what happened after that? Who did he put on? And without Drake, they wouldn't be who they are. Nobody. Migos were gonna pop with or without Drake. He did give them the alley-oop, but Drake didn't put on the Migos. They already had a movement moving on in Atlanta, and people were gonna gravitate towards them anyway. So y'all need to stop with that BS. And saying that Kendrick, he needs to be more featured and post pictures on Instagram. No, that adds to his aura and his mystique. So why does he need to do that? Just say that you were hurt, that he didn't feature you. But like I said, that's a private convo that he had. And I'm not shit talking Young Thug. He has the right to feel how he want to feel. And this was just a conversation that he had with somebody that, he was cool with. He was just having a conversation. So I'm not knocking him, but I'm going at the Drake stands and the industry talking about that. Because guess what? At the end of the day, Kendrick is number one. Kendrick is the one that did a stadium tour. Kendrick is the one that won the battle. Get over it. Y'all let any little thing that with somebody talking shit about Kendrick, you just pounce on that because you need some type of win since last year's L that Drake took. So get off the boo-boo, as Pimp C said. But anyway, speaking of Drake, let's move on. Let's talk about Drake. All right, so Drake has been getting a lot of flack per usual about being a culture vulture. That's coming up again. And the most flack he's getting right now is for appearing in an interview outside of hip hop media with that girl Bobby. What is her name, y'all? Bobby what? Bobby Althoff? Ain't that her name? Althoff? So he's been buzzing in the internet streets about that. And, a lot of people in the traditional hip hop media and everybody was just like, why is he going on that platform? He's not really for the culture, this, that, and the third. Well, guess what, y'all? I'm going to say this. This may be a different take that some of you may agree with, some of you may not agree with. But I'm on Drake's side partially with this one. Okay. Why doesn't Drake do why doesn't Drake do interviews with hip hop media or traditional hip hop media? For one, because he don't have to. For one, he does not have to. It's his choice where he wants to be interviewed, how he wants to be interviewed. Okay. Drake, Kendrick, different people like that are elite rappers, elite artists, global artists. So with that being said, they're not going to be on your average platform that you would see everybody else on. They're very strategic on where they want to go and what makes sense to them. Now, unfortunately, Drake likes to be with people outside of the hip hop culture. I'm not vouching for it, but I can't be mad at him for being interviewed by whoever the hell he wants to be interviewed. Drake has been in the game for 15 years. I think he has the right to choose who he wants to be interviewed by and who he doesn't. You know what I'm saying? He's put in work for that long. So let that man do what he does. Do I agree with it? Nah, but I'm not mad at it. It has to make sense for him. All right. The second thing is we label Drake a culture vulture. You know what I'm saying? We say that he's from Canada, he's Jewish, whatever the case may be, and he's not of the hip hop culture. He's a hip hop fan, but used hip hop to get where he's at, whatever the case may be. So why are you tripping if Drake appears on a platform that's outside of hip hop media? You know what I'm saying? Like Drake, he has to move a certain way if he wants to keep his image, protect his image, everything like that, right? We know if he gets on these traditional hip hop outlets, it will benefit him and them, you know what I'm saying? Because it could change somebody's life. You know what I'm saying? Like if he did an interview with me, academics, or somebody in the traditional hip hop media, as far as like Breakfast Club and everything like that, views would shoot through the roof, and it'll be great for the culture. You know what I'm saying? If he sat down with Elliot, but he's done that. He sat down with Elliot Wilson before. He's on the up and coming verge of his career. He was at traditional hip hop media outlets, but it's been 15 years. You know what I'm saying? So if we label him as a culture vulture, say he's not like us, how do you expect him to go on these platforms that are of the culture? So that's contradicting yourself. So I'm not mad at him for that. All right. The next thing is Drake is strategic and knows how to create controversy. Okay. Picture this. If he goes on Breakfast Club, if he goes back to Elliot Wilson, if he goes to $1 million worth of game, will it be dope episodes? Will it get views? Yeah. But how will he get more views? By causing controversy. The fact that traditional hip hop media is tripping about him going on somebody's platform that is white, that's somebody that's outside of hip hop, that somebody is not a part of the traditional hip hop media, that infuriates people. That angers people and gets them talking about it. And guess what they do? They take the clips, say how corny he is, and retweet it, make memes and all this other stuff. And what does that do? Build more traction for Drake. He can go on there sounding like a white boy, laying in the bed with this white girl, and it's all weird, but controversy creates cash. He's probably thinking, like, why would I go to Breakfast Club where I could get this viewership? But if I piss off people, I could go to this white girl's network that has nothing to do with hip hop, and more people will probably be tuned in just to see how corny they perceive me to be. Just how corny of a goofball they want me to see me to be. You know what I'm saying? And then, he's mad at, Foundation of Black Americans, I feel like right now, and hip hop culture anyway, because we already say he's not like us, deemed Kendrick Lamar the winner. So it's like, F y'all, you know what I'm saying? So um, that is, a big reason why. Like, why not piss everybody off? And I know it's going to get more viewership. Controversy creates cash. Now, one thing I will say is that I didn't like him bringing up the whole culture vulture thing. It's like, how are you going to talk about being a culture vulture or labeled a culture vulture without someone outside the culture? Because she ain't of the culture. So why are you talking to her about being a culture vulture? She can't understand that. So I didn't like that. That was a bad look. And I didn't watch the interview, to be honest, because I wasn't gonna waste my time. I can't take Drake serious, to be honest. I'd rather listen to his music than listen to him talk, because he takes me out of the element of the rapper or the artist that I like from him. But I can't just sit and listen to him because it takes me out of the element. I'm like, okay, this dude corny. He don't sound like he's even a rapper. He sound like somebody that should be selling insurance or something like that. So, but yeah, the last thing is he's like, F y'all. Like, I don't need to go on no hip hop outlet. Y'all told me I'm not like y'all, so why would I need to do it? This is his F you to everybody. You know what I'm saying? Also, he could have stake in this girl's career. His label could be tied to it. The higher ups could be making him do it. We never know the case, but you have to move a certain way, and I understand it. So I'm not mad about him doing media outside of the traditional hip hop media. I understand it. Not saying I agree with it, but I can understand why he does it. So that's my take on why Drake may, be doing that. Let me know in the comments what you think about that. Do you agree with it? Do you not? Do you think Drake is a culture vulture? Do you think he's whack for doing what he did? But it is what it is. All right. Next thing I want to talk about is your girl Cardi B. Y'all, is Cardi B about to pick up another lawsuit? Is she about to pick up another lawsuit? So let me share my screen with y'all, man. In case you've been hiding under a rock, Cardi B was leaving a courtroom after she was being sued for an assault case or something like that. I don't remember what it was, but she walked out and this happened. All right. Fair use, by the way, fair use.
Hey, Cardi, you're beautiful. Cardi, insiders are claiming that Offset is publicly bragging about getting you pregnant for the fourth time. Do you foresee any paternity issues with Stephon Diggs?
Stop disrespecting me. Don't disrespect me. So you see, she threw a marker or a pen or something like that. Look at this.
Foresee any paternity issues with Stephon Diggs?
Stop disrespecting me. Don't disrespect me.
Don't disrespect your court look is amazing.
You're amazing, Cardi. I still love you, even though you just threw some stuff at me.
I don't care. You're disrespectful. Don't do that. Do you see women asking those type of questions to me?
No, ma'am.
She's a queen.
It's a legit
Why
question.
do you feel as a man you get to ask me those type of questions? Act like you have some manners.
That's right.
And your mama taught you respect women.
That's right. You
All
look
right, Cardi.
gorgeous, Cardi. Go ahead, Bronx. You was.
And you could thank him. I'm not playing around.
We
I was
love you,
very
Cardi.
nice. I was very kind. But you're not gonna.
Cardi, I love you. It's just a question.
Nobody's gonna get that.
So the Cardi B, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Cardi B. So that happened. And how do you leave the courtroom after just beating like an assault charge, whatever the case may be? I forgot what you was in court for, but throwing something at somebody, that's what got your ass there in the first place. So is something wrong with Cardi? Like, does she seriously have like a issue going on? Like, or is she just stressed? You know, that was real interesting to see her do that, but her crashing out like that says a lot about her character. And it shows you why she continues to have these lawsuits or is always in these frivolous lawsuits and different things like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's violent. It looks like she got a lot going on. Now, I understand the thing. Like, you know, you don't want to be disrespected and stuff like that. But when somebody says something you don't like, you get that pen and just throw it at them. You know what I'm saying? You know how much money somebody could get from you actually doing that? Because that's assault. That is assault. Is he injured? Probably no, but yeah, I mean, you never know what he could say. I mean, you still threw something at somebody. When you're a celebrity, you can't just do that. You know what I'm saying? Because they like, oh, Cardi B actually threw something at me. She attacked me. So now your ass is going to be in the courtroom again. You know what I'm saying? So that's one side of it. The other side of it was that like some type of publicity stunt. Because if you notice, when she came out, right? I want y'all to peep something. When she came out, typically, isn't it supposed to be a lot of people talking, you know, trying to ask her questions? Cardi. That dude sound like, you know, it was just him. You know what I'm saying? Hold on. Let's look back. Let me see. Maybe I'm tripping. Let's watch that again. Hold on. Was it a bunch of people trying to ask her questions when she first came out the courtroom? Hold on. Hey, Cardi, you're beautiful.
Thank you.
Cardi, insiders are claiming that Offset is publicly bragging about getting you pregnant for the fourth time. Do you foresee any paternity issues with Stephon Diggs?
Stop disrespecting me.
But you see how nobody else is asking her questions. Typically, you know, as hot as Cardi is, everybody should be Cardi. It's just one person that's very loud, and everybody, like, did they orchestrate that? She does have an album coming out. You know what I'm saying? And he's like, Cardi, I love you, and all this other stuff. Typically, when celebrities are walking out and it's press out there, everybody has a question and they're trying to get it in. He didn't have a microphone or nothing like that. So it just kind of made me raise my antennas just now as I was looking at it. So that could have been a publicity stunt, you know what I'm saying? Because everybody's talking about it. But yeah, what do y'all think, man? Or because somebody said low IQ, low impulse, just whatever. But you know, she felt that it was disrespectful. And excuse me, you got to put yourself in her shoes. If you're getting tired of people trying you, asking a disrespectful question and everything like that, would you do what she did? You never know. You know what I'm saying? So, but did she pick up another lawsuit? You know what I'm saying? Is she just low vibrational? Y'all let me know in the comments what you think. But I think that kind of looked orchestrated just from how the dude was talking and how he was the only one talking and loud and stuff like that. And he got everything verbally out. You know what I'm saying? It's like she got to be, everybody else was quiet. She was, you know, able to talk and give her spiel and everything like that. It just looked real weird. So y'all let me know in the comments what you think about that. Let me know what you think about that. All right, so let me move on. This is the last thing I'm going to talk about tonight. So, PJ Washington. I forgot who he plays for. I think he plays for the Dallas Mavericks now. But PJ Washington, didn't he used to play for the Wizards, or did he play for the Hornets? Something like that. But he's a basketball player, and you know that he was with Brittany Renner. So the title is PJ Washington chose a toxic baby mama. So in case you've been hiding on the ride, let me show you what happened. So Brittany Renner, you know, famous. I don't even know what you would call Brittany. I'm gonna just say influencer right now. She went to Jackson State like the year after I did, and she blew up from being like a fitness person, and then she became an Instagram model. I don't know what you call her, but she was in the headlines for all right, good night, auntie. But she was in the headlines for a lot of stuff. You know what I'm saying? She got around sleeping with different people in the industry, prominent like sports players mainly. But she ended up getting knocked up by PJ Washington. And I gave my spill on this a while ago. But let's see what happened with PJ Washington when he went and picked up their child. Okay. So this is Brittany Renner and her mother. I don't know if that's her dad at the door, but let's watch what happened. Fair use, by the way, fair use.
Okay, hold on, pause. This is what we're not doing. So every time that he does this, I'm gonna record this. Because that's not okay. I'm just letting you know. No, the thing is, this is the third time he's done it. This is the third time he's done it. He doesn't want to go with you. So actually show up and do something then with him. Because he does this every time. No, it's not. No, it's not. It ain't because anybody babies him. You give him his bag and stuff?
That's terrible. 3 weeks in a row.
So they said 3 weeks in a row. 3 weeks in a row. The baby is crying when they leave. When the father, PJ Washington, comes and picks him up. And this is about to be where things go left.
No, it's not. Yeah, I will. But I'm telling you right now, every single time you come here and he's quiet, we're going to record that. And it's up with me. Just know that it's up.
What'd you say? What'd you say?
I didn't stutter.
I didn't hear you say it again.
Suck my.
So I ain't gonna play what he said. Suck my, you know what? And they going back and forth.
Pussy ass.
All right, and I ain't, they doing all this cussing. I don't want to, you know how it be. So real quick, I'm gonna play with the sound off. It wasn't like a fight or nothing like that. It was just a little altercation. But he's going off. They cussing at each other and stuff like that. And his wife is in the car too. So I didn't know he was married to someone else, Alicia Chanel. And you see her, she's like going off, things like that. So, man, a lot of people were giving their opinions about it. A lot of people said that this backfired on Brittany Renner. A lot of people were just like, you thought that people were going to be on your side for this. Because let's talk about the things that were wrong. Because Brittany was in the wrong, okay? Brittany Renner was in the wrong. And it looks like she's one of those toxic baby mamas, all right? The obvious is when you give the child away to someone else, right? The parent, right? If they're crying, that's typical behavior for a child. You know what I'm saying? Especially if it's leaving the mother to go with the father, because the father is more disciplined, more masculine. And, the father, you're attached to the hip. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the child is attached to the mother's hip because a mother gives you a certain type of love that your father doesn't. Maybe you can get away with more stuff from your mother than you can with your father. So the fact that they picked up and recorded that whole exchange just for him coming and picking up his child, and he's saying that's because y'all babying him. She's like, this is the 3rd week in a row he didn't did that. Like it's been 3 months or 3 years or something like that. Now, if the baby had a mark on them, and the baby was I'm talking about bawling, crying, and just screaming and trying to run away from the dad, that's a level of concern. All he was doing was whining. Didn't even look like no tears were coming out. But Brittany is got a mama and they're, filming and stuff like that. It's been 3 weeks in a row. 3 weeks in a row, and you tripping off of that. Toxic woman behavior. The child is supposed to go with their father, go with their mother, whatever the case may be. And you notice when the child got into the car seat, when it got into the car, what do you do? Stop crying. So Brittany created this toxic atmosphere and made everything worse, and it backfired on her. Didn't go the way she planned, and everybody's bashing her. But the quiet part out loud that a lot of people may look over or not saying is this. PJ Washington, you chose this woman to have a child by. You chose this woman. You knew she'd been around the block. Shout out to Brittany, but she been around the block. I'm quite sure somebody pulled him to the side and told him, hey, that ain't the one that you want. She done been around the block. See, when these men are warned about women like this or see this type of behavior, the reputation. What do you expect? What do you expect? Did anybody think they were just going to have a child and they were going to live happily ever after? They weren't married. And you know what type of woman Brittany is. So is this really surprising? Because I know it was these think pieces, and this is just the obvious, yeah, she's a toxic baby mom and stuff like that. But when are these men going to realize you lure yourself and put yourself in these situations? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm looking at him like, this is who you chose to have a baby by, though. Because it's not like people didn't know this about Brittany. Now, she never had a child before to display the toxic type behavior, but the girl wrote a book about dudes she slept with, Colin Kaepernick and different things. She looked like a superhead. So would you wife up a superhead or have a child with a superhead like that? These video, now I ain't gonna say because she wasn't a video vixen, but these type of women who are known for just getting around dating. Because what is Britney's talent? Think about that. What is Britney's talent? What is she known for? In the beginning of the topic, I didn't even know what to say about Britney. Like, what is she? I was like, she an influencer, just whatever. She got known for having a nice ass body. And a lot of dudes lined up to smash. That's all that it was. But PJ, and I know you were young, but you got a piece of that pie, you know what I'm saying? That poontang, and couldn't get, you had to have a child by her. And this is the result of that. Men, fellas, we have to be held accountable for who we sleep with. You know what I'm saying? It's easier said than done, but at least strap up. But you have to know, once you ejaculate inside of a woman like this, what can happen? You have a child. Do you expect her to be a great baby mama? Do you expect her to be a nurturing mother? And I'm not saying that she's a bad mother. I don't know about that. But that whole exchange right there and her recording it as if you abused the child or something like that. Like, if she has some story or background behind it, it would be different. But obviously, to me, it looks like she's a little jealous that he didn't moved on, got her mom involved. And I didn't play it all, but she was talking about money, talking about you'll give $175,000 to your hoe, which is his wife, Alicia. You give $175,000 to her, but you won't give but $11,000 to your damn child. $11,000, like that's just chump change. Like, that's chump change. It's most of America. People living in America don't have $11,000 in their accounts, their savings accounts, their checking accounts. The average person in America don't have $11,000 to spare. And this is going to a damn 4-year-old, 3-year-old. And y'all complaining about that? And that's that man's wife. Of course you get 175. So the audacity of these women. But like I said, I'm not mad at her, at Brittany or her mother. I'm saying the quiet part out loud. PJ, you knew what you was getting yourself into, brother. You knew that. And we know as a man who, like, when we about to nut, you know what I'm saying? Let's keep it up. But we know when we about to do that. And you know that sometimes, a lot of times, it could take multiple times in order for a woman to get pregnant. So we got to be held accountable. We have to be held accountable too, as well, for who we choose to sleep with. Because if you're, truthfully, if you having sex with that person, you need to be aware that they could get pregnant. But, I'm not going to fully put Britney's toxic, but that's stuff we already know. I'm not going to fully put the blame on her. I get it. But we also got to put the blame on PJ as well. You chose that baby mama. You chose that woman to have your child. I know it was probably good, but you should have pulled out. Being honest, I wasn't surprised with that. But anyway, that's my portion of it. That's what I had to say about it. You let me know if you agree, disagree, whatever. Hit that like button for me. If you're watching on YouTube, hit the like button. If you're watching on Facebook, hit that like button as well. Shout out to my replay gang. Y'all let me know in the comments how you feel about everything. Subscribe to the channel, which is youtube.com/ResView. And let me show y'all to go to Who Gave You a Podcast. I want you to subscribe to this page too. Y'all give me a second. I'm gonna show this page because I need everybody from ResView to make sure that you go and subscribe to this other channel. Because we at 228 subscribers right now. Let me share my screen with you. So if you like my conversations, you'll love these. Who Gave You a Podcast? Right now, we're at 228 subscribers. Let's get to 300. Let's get to 300. I just need, like 40, 50, 60 of y'all to go ahead and subscribe. These are all the talking points we didn't have so far. We get some pretty decent, consistent viewership right now. You can follow us on TikTok too, and Instagram. But I ain't gonna lie, y'all, this is the hottest, one of the hottest debate shows in the game. All of these get, pretty good views. We have great talking points and stuff like that. So do me a favor and go to Who Gave You a Podcast. Just type this in on YouTube and make sure that you go subscribe. If you support me, ResView, and support my content, please go and have fun, because you think I'm crazy. If you like my controversial takes and all this other stuff, you're going to love me and CJ's interaction. I'm telling you, it's one of the hottest podcasts in the game right now. So do me a favor. Like I said, go over to Who Gave You a Podcast. If you are a subscriber of my channel, go to that channel as well. We want to get those subscribers up. We've been doing good thus far. All right. But anyway, man, I've had fun. Great discussion. I will see y'all on the next episode of ResView. Peace out.